realizing like I have been massively overestimating the level at which you think about this game in some ways. Or not the level, but like the degree to which you are sometimes even like you're thinking about this way more complexly than me. But like that's why you can't come to a reasonable decision in these spots. Is like you're just, and that was pretty shocking. Like,
so this is something I constantly am telling people I coach and constantly telling like friends at high stakes and everything, and I include myself in this. And this is to every podcaster. You guys have to have more disrespect in your game for your opponent. Your opponent sucks. I suck. Everyone sucks. Humans suck at poker. It is what it is. And like people there's so many spots where people are so willing to give credit to someone for being really good. And even if the person is in an objective sense an amazing poker player, in this spot you can't treat them like that. And I think a lot of times if people would be more willing to be disrespectful in their game, they would gain a lot of win rate. It's just there's so many nodes that there's no reason you need to give your opponent credit for doing something. And I'm not saying one way or the other. I'm not saying aggressive, passive, whatever, but like
all of it. Yeah. All of it depending on the spot, right? Like all of it. Yeah. And I agree with you. And
we've all been check raised in the spot where your opponent's never checked value in their life. And like I would say generally that check raises are strong. So I'm not like, I don't think this is like a global read. I would like generally be like, yeah, check raises, they probably don't bluff most of the time, but like there's just these spots where like the guy has the nut flush blocker and he reps it and you're like, dude, you've never checked the nut flush draw twice in your life, and like now you're trying to check raise the river on me. Like I just don't, there's no way.
yeah And I think one of the things that's I think misleading for people and why I think these statements can sound confusing is when you say like people give them credit for being good. In these moments where people are giving people credit for being good, the level of good, like people think what good players are is delusionally good. Like what it means to be a great poker player is to have mistakes all over the place. It's just fewer mistakes and fewer mistakes in the certain absurd directions. That's kind of what we were saying before, where it's like there's lots of ways to just be wrong, but there's lots of gray area within that. But yeah, I think when people hear that, it's like, no, you're thinking these players are good. It's like, no, you're giving them credit for being perfect. That's the problem. Like no one deserves credit for being perfect at any spot, at any part of the game tree. Like no one deserves it, All right, guys, the full episode with Chris goes live this Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Please like and subscribe so you get notified when that happens, and see you then.